can honestly sit on this camera and say she is the fakest, phoniest, most toxic person I have ever met in my whole life. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Alexandria and this is Alexandria Says. What's up? Welcome. Yes, you know, we here or whatever. Before we get started, make sure you give this video a like, a comment, make sure you subscribe and turn on your post notifications, okay, so you never miss another video. Period. Yeah, so we're just gonna get straight into this video, guys. As you can see from the title of this video, I got another story time for you, my beautiful subscribers. Okay, y'all love my story time, so here we go. This story time it's an interesting story time, you know, because it's not just one like specific period in my life. Like, this is just like a story gathered over like multiple events that happened, and that's how I'm able to sit here and tell it. So when I tell it, it's gonna seem like a lot, but I want you guys to understand that this is over the course of like 3 years. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't just one specific incident, like one thing that happened. Like, so you're gonna be confused as why I'm calling this person like a friend. Like, this is my toxic friend story time. It's like we were friends, and these are just toxic things, red flags, stuff like that happen in the midst of our friendship, okay? And hence why we're not friends today. And I'm also gonna talk about that. I'm gonna talk about how we fell out, because that is one specific story. Yeah, all right, so let's just get into it. I'm gonna call her corny, because that's just how the only way that I can fit all my adjectives that I have to describe her in one, so I'm just gonna call her corny. I met corny her freshman year, my sophomore year. My first impression of corny was that she was just chill. Like, she was just chill, kind of quiet, relaxed. I became to realize, you know, she was friendlier when you got to know her. So when you became friends with her, she became like really friendly and stuff like that, and she would start to talk to you. The first red flag that I noticed about corny, the first toxic trait I realized that she has, is that she talks about her friends. Like, you'll literally be sitting in a group of like 4 of her friends, and if one person is missing, she's talking about them. And the next thing you know, when that person's present, let's say another person is missing, she's talking about that person. Like, she just talks about her friends. And so coming in and like meeting her, I hear a lot of things about these other girls that I didn't know, and it was all negative. Like, it was just a bunch of negative stuff, and it wasn't necessarily like stuff about their behavior specifically. It was things about their clothes, or their home life, or their grades, or anything, just like petty stuff, like petty stuff. And you know, I guess I was kind of numb to it because it's college and people talk about people. So, you know, I didn't necessarily think right off the bat like, oh, this girl, she got a problem. I think I was just like, she's just talking like most people do. I can honestly sit here and say that I have been guilty of that in times, but I think, you know, as you grow and as you get older, you realize, this conversation isn't really serving me, and you kind of just move on, or you kind of just keep certain things to yourself. But as I feel like if she's not venting about problems in her friendships, just running your mouth and spewing rude things about people you call your friends, that's wrong. It's fake. It's childish, and it's actually really, really disgusting, especially doing it to people who don't know them very well. Yeah, don't like that. As that year moved on, we became close. Like, I really consider her like an actual friend, like eating together, talking together, hanging out together, going to parties together, all that kind of stuff, you know. And I also really became close with the person that she was in a relationship with, and you know, we were all just friends. Like, it was all vibes, it was all good, like everything was good, but there were always small moments where things would turn bad, you know. And she is really good at pulling you into the bad stuff that could have nothing to do with you. Like, nothing to do with you. Whenever there was some sort of relationship drama she had, it was almost like she was just very narcissistic and very like conceited about the whole thing, and she always swore up and down that somebody wanted, you know, her partner. And I'm like, bruh, like, it's hard to tell her things because she would just be so stubborn about stuff, and she really wouldn't like listen, or she'd take one little thing and like run with it. I began to notice how rude she was to a lot of people, and I really think that she was just rude to whoever she think would tolerate it. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that, you know. But I think the part that made me kind of stay out of it is the fact that most of that stuff had to do with her relationship. And I was like, okay, like, you know, I'm friends with both of you, and if I wasn't, I'm not in your relationship, so I'm not gonna go and speak on your relationship and tell you things or whatever, you know. I'm just saying, I'm gonna let you vent, let you have your peace, and I'm gonna leave it at that. That's the parts that kept me from like speaking up whenever I saw something that was wrong, because I feel like there's a line, you know, sometimes, and like I didn't want to cross that line, that relationship line. I was like, your relationship is your relationship. But even though in the midst of the relationship, with the fact that, you know, I was friends with both of them, and oftentimes I got to hear both sides whenever there was an issue, I'm gonna just flat out say it because this is my video, this is my channel. I quickly realized, it wasn't slow, I quickly realized she was a problem. And then there was also where, you know, where you don't want to say nothing, because I'm like, bro, I'm still friends with her. So it's like, I don't want to step in and like mess up what they got going on, because I'm still friends with her. So I still want to be loyal to her, even though she the problem. Like, the jealousy, the narcissism, it's about me, it's all about me, you know. Basically, she's also, I would notice sometimes she would like fuel her partner into getting upset by either making up lies or saying this person was looking at her, this person wants her, and and I'm just like, not true, that kind of stuff. And I would just notice that, and I'll be there for it, and I'll have to hear like all the venting and all the angriness coming from it, and it was frustrating, it was draining, it made me not want a relationship. Like, for real, like, it was too much, it was too much. And there were two instances in the midst of this year. So now we're in my junior year, her sophomore year, and me and Courtney, like, it's just a lot going on, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of mess going on, stuff that I hate to deal with, stuff that she claims to hate to deal with. There's a lot going on, and Courtney, which she had the right to, you know, had different feelings about certain people, including people that I was really, really close to. And, you know, she would take small things and just like go off with them, like explode with them, and not want me to be friends with certain people. And, you know, I'm just like, okay, like, is she looking out for me? You know, I'm like, all right, she has a right to her opinion, you know what I'm saying, but I don't necessarily fully agree with it. I think me and my friends, especially my close friends, like, yeah, we have issues, yeah, we have moments where we may not want to be near each other, may not even like each other at that moment, but there was nothing ever huge that happened that made me not want to be friends with them. But she would always try to push that. And she would even claim to herself that, you know, like, I don't mess with them, I don't rock with them, blah, 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 blah. And then I would see her talking to them, like, whenever, you know what I mean? Even reaching out, not just them talking to her and her not being rude. It was like she would reach out to, like, be friendly and stuff like that. And I'm just like, if you don't rock with somebody, like, why are you doing that? And matter of fact, why are you pushing me to not be friends with them? If you're still gonna talk and mess and play and goof off and laugh with them and be cool with them, why can't I be friends with them? And so, yeah, I started to notice that. And once all that stuff was happening, I realized, I was like, problems are gonna start to come from this. And it did. Towards the end of that year, you know, me and her, like, there were some girls that we both like didn't rock with, that we both didn't like, you know what I'm saying? Our issues with them were separate. Like, my issue with them wasn't because of her issues with them weren't because of me. Like, we had our own separate issues as to why we didn't like these people. She was just real sensitive about that kind of stuff. And so basically what happened is, I on a weekend, I actually went to a dance conference, and one of the girls who went on the dance conference was somebody that we both didn't like. Mind you, there were only 4 of us at this conference. Nobody else besides me and her really knew about the drama and all the issues and stuff like that. And we had to do so much together. We had to eat together, we had to be in hotel rooms together, we had to do so much together. There wasn't really a way for me to avoid this girl, and I also wanted to have a good time, and I think she did, and there wasn't a conversation between me and her about keeping it cool for the weekend. I think we just both mentally knew, I'm like, all right, whatever issues we have, we're putting it aside for right now. So there were times where as a group we would do exciting things and stuff like that, and we would take snap videos or whatever. Whenever we took a class, we all wanted to take pictures with the teacher. Our dance teacher, who actually was there with us for one of the days, wanted to take us out to eat, and she got a few group pictures of all of us, and it was just so cool. So I posted these pictures. I'm like, yo, I had a good time, like it was fun. So I posted these pictures. I get back from that weekend, bro, she is pissed, and I'm just like, like I didn't get why she was so upset about it. I was just like, why are you mad? I guess I can understand why, you know, looking at it without any information, you may feel a certain way. But you know what, I felt like the adult thing would have been to like ask me what was going on, and I would have politely explained, yeah, basically like there's only 4 of us, like, you know, we all needed to have a good time. And she just came up with all these assumptions in her head about like, were we gonna be talking about her, were we like best of friends now, and this and that. And I'm like, yes, girl, no. Especially after all that I have been through with that girl, I was like, no. And just started coming out all this stuff, like basically calling me like a fake person. And I'm like, no, boo, you got the wrong one. And we didn't talk for a few months after that. And actually it was during the summer one time that she had hit me up, and we had a little text conversation about that. Basically she wanted to just like bury the hatchet. She was over it, which is a little bit narcissistic in itself. Like, you don't just get to run back to friends after you throw them aside. Yeah, there's that. But yeah, she was just like over it, and we talked again and we were cool. And I started off my senior year and we were friends. Coming into senior year, being friends with her, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I had my doubts, and I had the little voice in the back of my head or on my shoulder or whatever it is, like telling me that this may not be like the best of ideas that you had. And a lot of it starting out, I noticed some of the behaviors and the patterns that I remembered from, you know, when I first met her were starting to come up again. She was still talking about her friends, and it was mostly about the same things: their clothes, their boy drama, all kind of things, their habits, you know, their bad habits. And the setting off moment for me, the real moment for me that took me by like a tailspin, that I was like, bro, I'm not gonna start drama with her, but if something happens between us, I'm never being her friend again after this. The moment that set it off for me was when she was talking about her mentee, and she would just talk about her. And it was just one day I was like, bro, where's all this coming from? Because I'm like, I would look at them, I'm thinking that they were best friends. Like, she would post pictures with her, and she would talk about how cute she was, and she would call her twin or whatever, and she was just talking about her. I wish I was lying to you guys when I tell you. I don't want to get into too much detail because I don't want to basically expose nothing about her, because there's no issue between me and that girl. And I'm like, like, I really, like, I want to say specifics, but like, I just don't want to like embarrass that girl. But like, truly, I was just so upset when I'm hearing this. I'm just like, that's your mentee. Like, you're supposed to be there for her. Like, you're supposed to be out here like helping her. Right now you're hurting her. And so like, about that. And that's when me mentally kind of started to pull away from her. I realized, bro, I'm not talking to her about none of my business. Can't trust you with anything, clearly, you know. And I realized, I was like, yeah, something's gonna go down, and me and her are not gonna be friends again. And well, what do you know, it did. On the outside, the situation is gonna look so small. Maybe it is, I don't know, y'all gonna have your opinions. But for me, I was like, nah, we're not doing this. No. Basically what happened was, you know, as you guys know from whatever watching my videos, so I ran 2 clubs my senior year, and oftentimes events and stuff like that, practices or whatever was going on, kind of like overlapped each other. And so one of my days, I was having an event that ended up actually being the same day as dance practice. And I was telling them, and I was like, okay guys, like I really want to encourage you all to come to this event. Like it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be food, and I'm just gonna push practice back an hour, but I'm gonna have it stop at its regular time. And I said this over text in our group message, and she comes back with some stuff about, I don't see there being any point in practicing for an hour. First of all, honey, boo, 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 you need the practice. That's number one. So whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, 30 minutes, you need it. Second of all, it's okay for you to have your opinion, but why say it so disrespectfully, and why say it in the group message like this? I'm like, you know what I mean? You could have just told me like, hey, like, what's the point of practice for an hour? And I would have politely explained it to you. She goes running her mouth to this person and that person else in the group, basically dragging them all to not come. And so when I had a problem with that, because I'm like, yo, it's practice, like you don't just get to not show up and not say anything. When I had a problem with that, I let them know in the group message, and she said,
the time difference doesn't work for everybody, and people got this, people got that.
I'm like, bro, this is the same time we'd be having practice it anyway. So what do you mean the time difference? It's just an hour later and it stops at the same time. Like, do y'all understand that? Am I slow for that? Like, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I was like, what? And then come to find out that she actually had work. And I'm like, yo, if you had work, you could have just said that. But you didn't say that. You were rude. So now I don't talk to you. Now we're not friends because you got multiple problems and I don't rock with crazy. So me and you, no, that's cut. It's done. And that's basically how we fell out, and that was like over a year ago, and we still don't talk. Yeah, she liked to tweet about me and all that kind of stuff. I see all the screenshots. She still like to watch my videos. Hey boo, hope you see this one. Like, crazy, 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 crazy. And so I really feel like God tried to show me multiple times, you should not be hanging with this girl, and I did not listen. But now I'm listening. Hey, he heard, like, God always hears the conversations that you don't hear. He hears when your name is being brought up negatively. He hears when you're being lied on. He can tell when situations have risen for you based on what people have lied and said about you. Like, disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. And even the sad part is, even after all that, it's like she was so focused on herself throughout our whole friendship. I can honestly sit here and say she don't know me. She does not know me, and anything that she says about me, it's all fabricated, it's all BS, it's all mess, because you don't know me, boo. And that's it. That is the end of it. All right, that's the end of this story time, guys. Wow, that is one situation that I'm thankful for. As aggravating as that was, deuces, I don't gotta talk to you no more, boo. And I can honestly sit on this camera and say I've had a lot of effed up mess happen to me when it came to friends, but none of that really like connects to this. I can honestly sit on this camera and say she is the fakest, phoniest, most toxic person I have ever met in my whole life. Take thanks, okay? It's called Alexandria Says, and Alexandria said that, boo. I feel like people be wondering like how I be having all these details for all my story times. Guys, I open my diary and I read. Get you a diary. That's all I'm gonna say. Get you a diary, write all this mess down, and start you a YouTube channel and document all that. Cause it's lit, and milk it. Because people like it, all right? And you know, this isn't me feeding into drama. This is just telling y'all the events of my life. And as I always say, if you go on my Twitter, I probably said this 100 times. As I always say, behave well. When people describe your behavior, it won't sound like they're coming for you. That's just what it is. Yes. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Remember to check out my social medias down below. I got new dance videos coming all the time. Some new stuff about to come to this channel, y'all, that I'm super, super, super excited about. And I just love y'all. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notifications. Okay, let me know what you think. And yeah guys, I'll see you in my next video.